All right, so let me go ahead and get started. So we're going to pull this down so you can see more of the table, excuse me. Okay, I needed a larger wreath, and this is a 16-inch grapevine, and I wanted something larger. Why does it keeps attaching itself to things? All right, so this is a larger, let me show you. So this is 16, right? And I want to put 2 of these. So if you ever want to put like 2 large items on a wreath and there's not enough distance between the 2, I wanted to make sure I had enough room for florals and that this was an airy look. It also tends to stick out just a little bit. See if you hold it up. It's very deep, these things. So I thought, well, don't do that, Julie. Don't do that. I'm going to have to hot glue that back. I thought that I just feel like it needs more depth in the wreath. So what I'm going to do is divide this wreath up, okay? I've got another wreath that I want to add to it. Now, some of the things that you can use when you're attaching the 2 wreaths together are zip ties. So I pulled that over, but also you can use rustic wire. Remember, we've got this rustic wire, which is really good for putting wreaths together, and then also the bind wire. Excuse me. The rustic wire, however, is green and our wreaths are brown. And so one thing you can do is wire or tape your wire. You see how this one's green and this one's brown? It matches. So all I did was take floral tape that's in the brown. Floral tape comes in all colors. Stretch it to get it sticky. And then start on the edge and then just wrap. And then we get to the end and you just tape it off at the end as well. You could do this with regular florist wire if you don't want to do the rustic wire. The rustic wire is going to be a little heavier. All right, so now we've got something brown. So you can do this too for your wreath hangers. All right, so I'm going to put that over to the side. And what I'm going to do is divide this because I now want this to be roughly around 18 inches tall. So we'll see. All right, so the first thing to do is to find the end of this wreath. I'm just following the vine, the vein holding the whole wreath together and trying to find the end. And if you can't find the end, there is an end. There is an end. Here, it's got to be right here. All right, so you're just going to pull that out. All right, so you just pull that out. And now what you're going to do, get my trash can, because it might be messy, and unravel this. I don't think I've ever done this the way I'm thinking that's going to be done, so we'll see how it goes. All right, so let me put this to the side. The thing with working with grapevine is it's going to stick to itself. And what I want to do, excuse me, is pull this apart. I want a little depth, but I don't want it to be very thin. I should wear goggles, oh my gosh. Okay, so there's one. All right, let me do the other one. This is a great thing to incorporate into a Christmas tree. I've done this many times for Christmas. Divide up your grapevine like this. Put it in your trees. All right, if you're looking for a natural look, I'm just gonna take this, get this off. I'm trying to get like 2 sections. There, it's starting to come apart, 2 sections. There, okay. So you see how it's sort of separated into 2 sections? I'm trying to get some length right now, like that. It looks like we have a little ledge to put this on. So I'm going to take some zip ties and zip tie this down right here. I don't think I grabbed anything. Let me redo that. Okay, now let me get the other one. I sort of have an idea in my head, but I'm really just working with the grapevine. Here's another one that let me put that over here. Oh, that's pretty. Look at that. That's really thick. Let's just use part of this because I want some height up at the top. But it's too thick. You could, I didn't want to put another solid grapevine up at the top because look, if you put another solid grapevine, it will, well, that one's not bad because this is a very thin grapevine, but if it was really thick, it just would look like it was pieced together. So what I'm doing is trying to basically make my own original grapevine look. Just going to zip tie this right here. I always put it in upside down every time. Every single time I put the zip tie on upside down. All right, let's see if we can get it over here. When you're using divided grapevine, you want to make sure to wash your hands really well. This is the bottom. Okay, I'm just going to keep working with it until it's something that I like. This feels a little wobbly right here. So this is where, if you didn't want to do another zip tie, that's where you could use your rustic wire that we tied off. You could also use bind wire. All right, before I cut, I'll go back and I just confirm that everything is, relatively tight, because as you start working with it, it gets a little looser. All right, so let me cut that off. Okay, so once we like what we have, so you see the difference now. Our wreath measures from top to bottom around 22 inches, and from side to side it's still about 16. But now it's a little bit more in depth. It's got more depth, I should say, and it's got more length, spacing out between our focal pieces. Now what I'm going to do is cover up the zip ties using the moss and hot glue. So we just put a little hot glue around the zip tie area. And this is going to camouflage the mechanics. Remember, the mechanics are anything that hold your wreath together, that doesn't add to the overall design. So you can see how you just go through and you cover this up. This is the rustic wire. You see how it blends in? I'm not even going to worry about that one. It looks really well. And then there's one more over on this side. We'll get that real quick. Now, if you could wait until you got your whole wreath together to do this, in case you have to take it apart as you're making it. You could just do this last little bit covering up. It's turned out really pretty. It's already big. I mean, it turned out really good that it's bigger. See how thick it is? Here's the back.